Hey guys, so it's been a few days. It is currently the 10th of April. Hi Kaiba, good morning. He was dead asleep in my room, but of course I came into a different room, so now he has to come say hi. Do you want to come say hi? This is my cat. This is Kaiba. He is very helpful when I crochet because he lays right on top of my active working yarn, and he likes to play with all the tails that I haven't woven in, and he likes to eat yarn. He doesn't really eat it, he just kind of likes to chew it and catch it. So then I'm crocheting and I get a random chunk of wet yarn, and I don't know why. You don't know why? He's very helpful. But yeah, that's not what this video is about. This is just an update on all of the crocheting I've done in the past 10 days or so. So in my last video, I showed you guys I finished this dress, a little navy and white baby dress, right? And I did it based off a pattern that I purchased a couple years ago that I could not make because my crocheting skills weren't there. So I got brave because I said, I can read patterns now. And I bought a pack of patterns. It was, I think, 30 patterns for a really good deal. And I thought, hey, I will just work my way through these patterns kind of to just get through my yarn. So I will, pick out yarn that I already have that matches a pattern, make it. The issue with that is I am not good at math. Math is not my forte. I like English, reading, and writing. To be completely honest with you, I messed up giving somebody $20 and change the other day at work. Like, they needed me to break a 20, I give them 17, and instead of being like, hey, I'll give you the $3 tomorrow, I handed them 17 and said, no worries, just tomorrow, give me the $3 when you have a chance. And then I just stared at her because I knew that my math wasn't right, and it just took me a second to figure out why it wasn't right. Regardless, I found this cardigan because my grandma's birthday was this month. It happened last week, but she's in Mexico. So this is the cardigan. And it had a gauge on it. And because I don't really use patterns that often and I haven't really gotten into garment making, especially adult sized, I said, let me measure my gauge. And I did. And the gauge is based off of these shells here. The only issue is the pattern was a 3-weight yarn and I used a 4-weight cotton because my grandma likes cotton. And so I went down a hook size and I chested it out, and it was like 6 shells by, however many rows should be, like 10 millimeters or whatever. I did it, measured my swatch, was like, wow, I got it bang on. Cut to making the cardigan. It starts on the sides and then you add in the back panel, like the between here to the lower mid back, you add in after. And I could not get it to work because the back panel is supposed to be this big and I only had this much space in between. And I go through and I check and all my stitch count is right and my rows are right, and I'm like, what? And I even emailed the pattern maker and I was like, hey, I'm super confused. Can you walk me through? Am I just not understanding the collar? Like this, maybe as the order? And they talked me through it. Amazing pattern maker, by the way. I will add them below. They literally went through the pattern and like voiced over and said, first you'll do this row and then you'll do this and then you'll go here. And because I was confused as to the order of the steps because the pattern broke the collar up into 2 different pieces. So when you did the collar, there was like a random collar section here, and then the collar sections were also at the bottom. And so I was just overthinking it, and they explained it to me. Amazing, beautiful, amazing customer service. Will purchase patterns from them again because of how nice they were. My issue is the pattern was for 6 shells and I measured it to 3 shells across. So my width was like 1.5 times bigger than it should be, which is why nothing was lining up. So I ended up having to freehand basically the rest of the cardigan based off the pattern. So it's half of a pattern and half freehand the sleeves. Again, they were inspired by the pattern, and then I added a little cuff. I freehanded all this. I'm super proud of it. Regardless, it looks beautiful. I know my grandma will love it, but I'm still not there with the patterns. So then I jumped over to my great grandma, whose birthday is also coming up in a few days on the 25th, I believe. And she is turning 100. which does not happen often. So we're throwing her a big party in Mexico, and she likes hats. So she likes the double knitted hats. So I had single skeins of this Pioneer Woman yarn, and so I made her 2 of each. So each skein made 2 hats almost exactly. So she's getting 2 of each of these colors because she likes the hats. And so to take a break from that pattern pack, I picked my next project out, which was this shawl. It's like a wrap. The pattern had a gradient from browns, but I just did it in this mosaic kind of textured yarn. It is very colorful, like super colorful. So it is a whole bunch of X's. I really like this pattern. It was super easy to do. Like the pattern repeats were great. It was super beginner friendly because you could easily see if you made a mistake the row below, so it was really easy to frog. And then I added a border of white that can go at the top or the bottom. It is just a wrap shawl. It's not a triangle shawl, so they can wear it as a giant scarf. I think I'll give this to one of my godmothers in Mexico. A lot of my patterns and stuff that I make, I will take to Mexico because it sucks to say, but I have donated items to a few of, you know, like family members and loved ones here in the States, and not really appreciated. Like, I get the thank yous, but they don't really use them. But in Mexico, if you make someone something like this, they will purposely wear it with honor, and they will tell everybody. You know, my godmother, I made her something. She tells everybody when she wears it, my goddaughter made me this. Or my old babysitter, if she knows I'm gonna be somewhere and I'm in Mexico, she will purposely wear it so that I can see that she's wearing it. And they honor it a little bit more over there. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but that's why I take a lot of stuff. And so you'll hear me say I'm taking things to Mexico. This is actually not done yet. This is the other skein I'm gonna do for my great grandma. It's a sparkle lilac yarn. I might make her more. They did let me know she's good on hats, so I might not make more. Here's the other half skein. So this is that Pioneer Woman yarn, and so I made this 130 row hat, and there's still another one left. So you can make 2 130 row hats from each skein. Then this is my current work in project, and again, this is when I say crocheting keeps you humble. My math kept me humble on that first cardigan. I started a second cardigan from that pattern pack, but I had a whole bunch of scrap yarn, so I said, hey, this pattern is for a single color, so it was just a solid, you know, color. I was like, I don't really like that. I have a lot of scrap yarn to get through, so I will just change this pattern and make it with this other yarn I have and just alternate colors. Theory, that should work. I matched my gauge, I measured it. I actually had to change it because my yarn was a little thicker and thinner and stretchier, so I tried to change the gauge to match the measurements of the pattern, and I did it successfully. Very proud of myself. But basically, I alternated these. So the pattern is a 2-row repeat of double crochets and then so double crochet, chain 2s, and then the next row is 2 double crochets, chain 1 in the gap of the row below. It's a super simple pattern. However, I did not think, because you work this in 3 panels, so you do the back panel and then you do the 2 front panels, basically 2 big rectangles in the front, and then you seam up the sides, I changed colors at the sides because it's the end of the back panel here, so you can see where they're seamed, which means I now have a crap ton of tails to weave in to the sides. However, this is a loose pattern, so it's really hard to hide your tails in. So I am, oh, and then there's the sleeve. I decided to do the sleeve in just black because I felt like it would look cute. So if you can see, like, seaming up the sides, there's still some tails that I have to try to figure out how to hide. Either way, pattern turned out amazing. It matches. I made this in a size large according to the pattern, and I am an extra large, sometimes a 1X depending on the clothing, and it fits me. Like, it doesn't, you know, close or anything, but It is very cute. I will insert pictures of everything I've shown you on my little mannequin stand. But I've been making great progress. I've been making a lot of clothing and working through that pattern book, which I will attach below. But this is my other investment. So I bought this to organize my notions because I've been needing them a lot more with the clothing I've been making. And I thought, hey, I'll get this one. It's got 3, 6, 7, 14, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yes, 14 individual containers. I got this on Amazon. It's supposed to be a bead organizer, but I like it because you can just kind of pull out, and it's got labels that you can stick on there, but I have ugly handwriting, so I'm gonna wait for my sister, who has nice handwriting, to label them for me. And I thought, hey, over the years, I will fill this with notions. I have one empty container, and that's because I can't find one of my notions. So I just wanted to do a cute little run through of my notions kit. So these are stitch markers that are little daisies. I got these on Amazon. It was like a 50 pack of different stitch markers. These are safety eye backings. The thing I can't find are the actual safety eyes. They were in another container. These are my darning needles, sewing needles, and also needle threaders. So there are needles in with my threading needles, the wide ones. I've got black buttons, mixed sizing. I've got white buttons. I have black beads. These were the original ones I used when I started doing crochet toys before I learned about safety eyes. These are pins that I've been using to block my work. These are extra fancy stitch markers that I actually had custom made with little owls on them because, as you know, my name is Tecolote Yarns, and those of you that don't speak Spanish, tecolote means owl in Spanish, so I just have a ton of these, and I actually had these made up with different sizes on it, so they go from 0 to I think 15 millimeter. So what I do is I don't use those as actual stitch markers. I put that at the start of my work in case I forget what hook size I used on that pattern. I will just check that stitch marker and say, hey, I used a 4.5 millimeter hook. It has actually saved my life. So I have my small one, so anything like 0 to 6 is in here, I think. And then anything 6 through like 15 or 20 millimeter is in that other container. These are basic stitch markers. They're actually cute. They're little heart-shaped ones, but I just got them on Amazon a long time ago. These were my original stitch markers, which are just safety pins. They're also good for when I block work and try to figure out how it'll look on a mannequin. These are, those of you that sew, these are little, I think the English word is bobbins, but it is thread on little mini spools that fit in here so that I don't have to carry around a big spool and color match. So I have a black, medium brown, light beige, and a white thread, so this will match most anything I try to sew on as far as buttons go, because I really only have white and clear buttons and black. And I have one empty container that I can grow into, and I will grow into it as soon as I find my safety eye fronts. I found the backs, but not the fronts. So that is my update for the week. Crochet will keep you humble, like I said, but I'm just really excited and happy that I'm really just busting through my yarn stash. And actually, when I made this cardigan, I ran out of 2 of the shades, and I went through all of my buckets. I literally pulled out every skein, every scrap. I went through my scrap little bin, and I did not have any of those shades. So I did run to the store to try to find that shade, and I actually went to 3 different stores, or 4 actually, because I could not find a dark brown that is dark enough. Everything was like a medium brown, and I needed like right above black, because if you can see, I've got black, brown, and then a light tan color, and I could not find something between that black. I went through Joann's, I went through Michael's, I went through Hobby Lobby, could not find a dark brown that is dark enough, and then I found another yarn store near me, and it's a local yarn store, and it's called Crochet something. It's like 20 minutes from my house, and they have crochet circles. So they have little events like in the middays where you can come in and just craft with everybody. You can knit, you can quilt, whatever you do, but you just kind of hang out, and it's for camaraderie, and I love it. The issue is it's kind of embarrassing. I wanted to go, but this project I'm currently working on is scrappy, and so the weights don't match, the tails haven't been woven in, and I didn't want to show up to a new craft event with a hodgepodge material like mess. So I'm waiting till I start a new project of a new pattern, waiting till I finish the first couple rows, and when I get into a good rhythm, then I will take that to my craft circle, which is ridiculous. I know no one will judge me at the craft circle, but it's my brain and it's my head, and it's me not wanting to do that for the first impression, because I have been raised to always make a good first impression. So that is my update. It's a ton of yarn that I've used up. Like, just holding up all of this yarn is impressive, and I'm proud of myself. So feel free to share what you have done. If you also have a small channel and you watch this, please leave me your username. I will subscribe to anybody, especially if you're local to the Pacific Northwest. I would love to have crafty friends nearby. But hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and let's keep crafting.